Hey everybody, it's Cindy, the Scrapologist. Thanks for coming back to my channel again. I'm here with my project for the week 1 challenge, the color palette challenge, which is tea and toast. And I had to kind of laugh at myself because one of the things that I said in the video was one of the reasons I was doing this was because I see so many people second guessing themselves, cutting down their work, and just getting in their own head too much. And I wanted this to be sort of a fun little project where we could all just create and have fun with it. Well, guess what? I found myself cutting myself down and not really cutting myself down, but I was sitting here saying, okay, Cindy, you're the moderator for this, and so you have to come up with something spectacular, something that's just going to wow everybody. And I was really putting a lot of stress on myself about that. And then I thought, no, I don't have to come up with something spectacular. I just want to be myself and come up with whatever inspires me with the tea and toast palette. And if people don't like it, that's okay. And if they do like it, that's okay. But that's what this is all about, because I don't want you guys doing the same thing, saying, ooh, my project isn't good enough to post. Because I do want us to all go over to the Papercraft Fan Club and post our projects. So every time that kind of thing entered into my head, I just had to stop it and say, cut it out. So this is what I came up with this week. And like I said, I do hope you post whatever you came up with, even if it's not this week. When you get around to it, you get around to it and post. That's what this is about. So tea and toast. Now I notice on my screen the colors are not really what they look like in real life. So you'll just have to trust me that I did kind of match the color palette a little bit. Um, but yeah, everybody's computer screen is going to vary. So the first thing I did was just a couple of little things. I was looking at this saying, you know, there's really no need to overthink this because just about everything I have is in this color palette because I do junk journals. So the first thing I did was I just pulled out my baggie with all of my scraps. However, this is the cool thing about really starting to be more aware of color nuances. When I started looking at a lot of my scraps, because I buy things primarily from the 1800s, books and ephemera and whatnot, a lot of it has yellowed and was really moving more towards a yellow palette, a yellow tone, which is perfectly fine. It all would have looked fine with this. And this here, as you can see, all of this would have looked fine with this. But that's not what I'm trying to accomplish. I was trying to sort of stick to this color palette. So I noticed a lot of my stuff was more towards the yellow tone, and I had a lot of grayish tones in there too. So anyway, I hope that as you're going through this, you learn some things about color too. I've always had a hard time seeing seeing nuance. Whoops, something just fell. Um, in color. Like my girlfriend, who's really super good artist, would say, "Oh, that there's a lot of blue in that," and I wouldn't see any blue. But so I noticed that I did learn that. I'm getting a little better through this process. So I hope you learned something too. Anyway, the first thing I did was just a little snippet that can go into a junk journal. I tended to prefer this honey beige color. Remember I told you last week that 40 to 60% of what you choose should be you should choose one main color, and that should be 40 to 60% of your palette, and then you choose another color to be the other, what I'm trying to do math in my head now here, the other 30 to 40%, and then you use one color to pop. So I kind of did that. I really preferred this color. I had a lot of this in my stash, and I preferred the cream and ivory as the pop of color. So these tended to be my background colors. So here's an example of the background colors, and then there's the pop of ivory right there. So this just goes into a junk journal. Ooh, slew of motorcycles going by. I hope you can't hear that. That was loud. That was really loud. Try to find a blank page. I've done so much decorating in here. See, you can just put this on the edge and it creates your tabs for you. Or you can put it this way. I like it that way too. So I just did one of these. And then I did a very quick little bookmark, or a tab, I should say. Tag. I can't talk today. I can't think. And it's in the ivory soft cream color with a pop of the honey beige. I found, doesn't look it on the camera right now, but I found that my piano roll paper really matched up with this honey beige very nicely. And then this one was just, I don't know, more kind of the honey beige too. So I used tones of the honey beige. I didn't have things that matched up perfectly, but as long as they were sort of in the same, very similar, then I went with that. And then I made a junk journal page. And for this, again, I used the honey beige as my primary color and also as the pop of color, because this flower had some honey beige in the middle of it. I did end up with some green. That's okay, because it's just a pop of it. But you see, there's the honey beige. And then all these other colors, the matte and the tan, were in my coffee stained paper. And also this music paper that I had was the honey beige. And then I did the soft cream and the ivory as my pop of color. So there's not the scrapbook, the junk journal page. And on the other side is this beautiful vintage doily. Had a hard time using that with some vintage cotton just sewed to the bottom of it. Or did I glue that? That one I glued, yeah. But this is sewed onto my page. And again, all of these colors are here with the coffee stained paper, and then these two are here and here. So I did that. Then I started experimenting. With my silhouette machine, I cut some Rolodex cards, and I wanted to kind of experiment with these. So I'm going to just make something up while I'm here, trying to use this color palette. Let's get the color palette back here. And if you don't have a silhouette, you can use your envelope punch board. But I also think that, let me give you the dimensions of this. These Rolodex cards are 5 by 3 with about a little more than a 1/4 inch tab. And if you cut something 5 by 3, and then you don't have to have the tabs, but you could get the tabs off of a real file folder if you wanted. Then what you could do is take a hole punch. Let me see if I have a piece of paper where I can just demonstrate. I think if you just took a hole punch and did a hole here and here, so on mine the hole is at, this ruler's getting so hard to see, 1 3/4 and 3 1/4. So you would punch a hole at 1 3/4 and 3 1/4, and then you can just go up like this. And cut it like that, and see how that looks like the bottom of a Rolodex? So you can totally make these yourself. Very, very easy. Okay, where'd my top one go? Here it is. Let's work with the top one. So I decided to play with my paints just a little because I didn't do that on the other ones. This is one good way to really get some color if you don't, you're missing one of the colors on here. You can mess around with some paints, or you just want to add an accent. And so I'm going to paint a little bit on here, and I have this. Let's see. I'm going to try this khaki paint. Again, not in the camera, but in real life, it looks almost exactly like this honey beige. So I'm going to use this. I have these other ones I pulled out, just a titanium white, snow white, and antique white. And I thought maybe I could play with those a little bit if I don't quite get the color I want. But let's see what happens here. Again, this one is khaki. And I cut these out of regular craft paper. Acrylic paint soaks into them. Let me move my scissors. Soaks into craft paper pretty good, so you want to be a little thick. I just like finger painting. I'm going to put a nice thick coat up here. And then just kind of that's not coming out the way I want it. Let me see. Let me try this antique white. Let's get a dab of that too. Let's see what that looks like. I just got this little tray at Walmart. Yeah, let's do a little bit of that antique white. Blend it in even with the other. Doesn't have to be neat. I'm just going to collage this Rolodex card is all I'm going to do. Okay. And let's see how we're doing. It's in the family, but it's a little lighter. So let's go over it with just a little bit of the beige. Mix it in, and I think it won't be quite so white. Again, not that it really matters. The other color, the antique white, would have looked perfectly fine, but I'm just trying to stick with this color palette. Okay. There, actually, that is very close. Totally doesn't look like it on my computer screen. This looks really yellowy, almost orange. I tried adjusting my white balance, but what the main thing is, I have a new set of studio lights on order because in Maine, it is just the weather is just too unpredictable to use ambient light and just one other light. I have to get some professional lights because I'm tired of my lighting situation. It's unpredictable every day. I have to finagle with it. Even right now, see there's shadows. So I've got some lights coming on order, and hopefully the white balance will be a lot better. So let's see. I've got too much stuff on my desk. I've got my bag of goodies here. I've got a bag of buttons, and I have my my little bowl that I've shown you before with all my snippets of textiles. And I like this. Let's do something with that. Get my color palette again. Sorry, I keep moving that. But actually that's more honey beige again, but a softer tone of the honey beige. And I think that would look really nice there. And I'd like that, but we'd have to put some more paint on it. Let's try, because it's very white. Actually, let's have that be the background color. Let's do that. I'll have that be the background color, and then I'll do the khaki for the flower. Let's do that. This is just a little tag that I put through my what is it? The Sizzix, and then through my embossing machine to get a flower on there. Went a little overboard there. That can go there. That's still a little too dark. Let me get some more of this antique white, just a little bit. Well, I put too much on and kind of, well, that's what happens when you keep experimenting, but I keep losing the flower. There, I can see it now, but I don't know about you guys. But I did put too much on. Too much on right there, but that's okay. Then, I'd like a sentiment across the, let's see. Yeah. I just cut this out of a book. She thought about the stars she had seen in the sky and the snowflakes that had dusted the stone walkways. And I think I'd like to put that across there. And then we need some buttons. That one goes. Do we need 2 buttons? Maybe a small button and a big button. I always like that look. Oh, that's green. There we go. That matches. That is exactly the matte color. Let's do that. And before I put this on, though, I want something up here. I've got this stamp set from back in my old planner days, and I like to use these for the tabs. I can't find my favorite one. It says noted. It's probably oh, if you guys follow me on Facebook, you know that 3 weeks ago I lost my acrylic block set, the whole set for putting these on for stamping. It is nowhere to be found. I cannot find it. It's huge. It's this big and like this thick. I have looked everywhere, and my studio is organized. You know, I work in here every day, and I keep things pretty well organized. I can't find it. It had to have slipped in like vertically behind something, or I don't know. I'm so mad at myself. I'm gonna have to buy a whole new set. The only thing is, I have a handyman coming Saturday, tomorrow, to reorganize my shipping closet. I bought a whole rack system to put my bubble wrap and my boxes and shipping tape and tissue paper and all that. I'm finally going to get that closet organized. And maybe once I put some more things in there, as I get more things out of the studio and into secure other places, maybe I'll come across them. But I don't know. I'm really mad at myself. So anyway, that says today. And let's just get some Fabri-Tac and glue this all down. So I'm so glad it's Friday. So very glad. I had a busy, busy week. Didn't have a lot of time to do things for myself. I had a ton of orders that I was getting out. And it seemed like a lot of people like my embellishments, my library cards and my double pockets, and I sell 10 at a time. So if I get 10 orders, I have to make 100 of them. And so I do make like hundreds of those a week. So I think currently they're sold out in my shop because, um, yeah, I just can't keep up. So I think I might be better off just making them and as they're made, then list them in my shop at that time. But I thank you very much for loving those items so much that I can't keep up. That's a pretty cool thing. I'm not complaining. But it is going to be nice to now just kind of hang out and create a little bit. I have to have time every week for just me, for just my brain and my meditation and what I need. Because art is therapy for me. It should be for everybody. Music is therapy too for me because I'm a musician. But I have a lot of overuse issues right now and not playing as much as I should. My back and shoulders are just really killing me, so I play every day, but normally I would go ahead and put and sew thread in the buttonholes, but I don't want to bore you to death. To death. There. There we go. It's still all quite wet, but maybe we should just, yeah, we need that extra touch. There. Let's see how it compares with our tea and toast color palette. I like it. I'm very happy with it. We've got some Tahimi tan in there. We definitely have some cream and some of the ivory. A lot of the honey beige. Again, it doesn't look like it on the camera, but this is what our Rolodex card ended up looking like. So here's what I made this week. When you get around to it, I'll be very excited to see what you come up with. On Monday, which would be the 15th, Monday the 15th, well, every Monday until we all get tired of this, I'm going to post another color palette. This one's going to be um, a little more diverse. This one that I wanted us to start out easy with just kind of a almost a monochrome, but not quite color palette one that was easy to work with. And they're all going to be easy to work with, but yeah, the one for Monday is really fun, and I can't wait to work with it. So I hope you join me there. Join us over at the Papercraft Fan Club and post your projects. Next week I might, well, I shouldn't say this, but eventually I'll probably make some 12 by 12 scrapbook pages or mini album pages or cards. I'm not just going to stick to junk journal supplies because the Papercraft Fan Club is all about any papercraft. So think outside of the box. You don't have to just do junk journal supplies. So I hope you had fun with your color palette of the week, tea and toast. And now I'm going to go enjoy some more tea. See you later.